Gaming discourse is bugged. That said, MTX can be predatory. 60 FPS makes for smoother gameplay, and I don't want to pay $70 a game. The industry has issues. We should expect and demand better, and GameTubers are right. Reviews are opinions. That's all true. But for just a moment, can we set those positions aside? Are there other options? For the sake of conversation, here's a thought experiment. What do we do when GameTubers are wrong? And how do we know if they're wrong? I'm not here to argue against gamers. This ain't even about arguments for me. I'm asking if we have the whole story. Take $70 games are greedy. But are they? Can I show you something? This is Street Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo. This game, rocking those graphics, was $70 in 1992. Today, that's $160, and it wasn't just Street Fighter 2. Donkey Kong, $70 due to pre-rendered graphics. Star Fox, $70 due to the Super FX chip. Chrono Trigger, the GOAT, launched at $80, depending on where you bought it. Earthbound, $90 because it was a special edition. Ever heard of Virtue Racing? Priced at $100 due to the SPG chip. And Phantasy Star 4, just under $100. Even without inflation, some games sold for over $200. Chrono Trigger is praised, but we never mention its $80 price tag. Gaming was niche and greed is real. That's not the whole story. In 1997, Final Fantasy VII dropped. CDs normalized cost to $50. Simply put, cartridges had actual technology in them, but CDs are just plastic. Even today, some games cost more because they're worth it. Doesn't mean every game should cost $70. Hell no. Value should be conditional, not universal. I promise you, this video ain't what you think, unless you think I'm agreeing with you. So please hear me out. I think John Oliver said it best.
One of the slightly dispiriting patterns you can find in researching these stories is some of the data that is most commonly passed around by activists can collapse. There is some real, as I'm sure you know, garbage data passed around where it feels like, well, you've inflated this by 15% and it really did not need to be. There's a perfectly usable stat that's slightly less than what you're saying, which you can actually stand on, rather than this one, which is just nothing.
Appreciate it, John. If $70 games are pure greed, historical pricing contradicts the narrative. Games are cutting-edge technology. After 30 years, yeah, prices are increasing. Everything is more expensive now. Sometimes there's more to the story. How does ignoring that benefit viewers? We didn't know because GameTube is the bug. Influencers and outlets start with conclusions and work backwards, doing as little research as possible while ignoring any info they don't like, to oversimplify complex topics, regularly accusing developers of lying. No. Just no. That would be a conspiracy crossing continents and countries, with developers, community managers, and journalists all in on it. And the only people who know the truth are outlets and influencers of GameTube. Or, hear me out, or gaming misinformation is real, rampant, and comes from the top. To paraphrase John, gaming has enough problems without distorting facts or ignoring reality. Saying that's unpopular, and I know it. Other creators hate it. Devs don't like it either. More than that, you like these channels. I used to watch them too. I'd love to again someday. But at best, they cherry pick and mislead, and at worst, they choose to spread misinformation. If you're nodding along, pip, like, and sub.
Touch me. Touch me harder.
Real quick, there's this thing called the backfire effect. If I tell you you're wrong, you're not gonna believe me. because I'm literally telling you you're wrong. So no, I'm not gonna do that. Instead, here's a comment about game dev from 2022. Stuff like this is why games need more open developer diaries. Hell, films have been doing them openly since DVDs were a thing, and even TV documentaries before that. For comparison, here's one from 2025. I wish devs were not silenced on sharing their experience and expertise, but were rather encouraged. Thankfully, some dance the dance to share what they can, but the amount of things I wish that are functionally impossible under our system is near endless. I see comments like that all the time. In fact, the other day I got an email asking about my Stop Killing Games videos. I told them my videos aren't about telling gamers they're wrong, because that's not helping. Dear viewers, I'm willing to bet something in gaming pisses you off, because gamers want to know how the sausage gets made. Only weeks, months, years later,
Nothing.
Put another way, does bad info mean how you feel is wrong? Of course not. Facts don't erase your feelings. No matter what your issue is, it matters. Yeah, expect and demand better from the industry. Find the dirt, dig up the bodies, then drop them on the industry's doorstep. So no, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong because you deserve honest answers. That said, the conversation is getting increasingly technical, covering both objective and subjective topics. The problem, too many channels make everything us versus the industry or gamers versus journalists. GameTubers couch everything as pro-consumer, labeling any nuance or disagreement anti-consumer. That only leads us to talk past each other. Dear GameTubers, to quote Neil deGrasse Tyson,
one of the great challenges in this world is knowing enough about a subject to think you're right, but not enough about the subject to know you're wrong.
Hey, I said I wouldn't tell gamers they're wrong. I didn't say nothing about influencers or outlets, because I want diverse games with fewer bugs. I'm pro better games, full stop. Gaming content creators say that's what they want, but do they? Or do they want to be right so bad they ignore the damage done when they're wrong? For example, over 3 years, they've said 60 FPS is standard. This is the Aaron Greenberg tweet they use as proof. 2 months before that tweet, Xbox released this article saying it's a creative decision best left in the hands of title developers. Here's the follow-up tweet from Greenberg that they never mention because it debunks their claim. Now, I'm just a dude in a room. I could be wrong, so I counted. Every game from the dawn of gaming to modern day. As you can see, only 33% of 9th gen games hit 60. Insisting it's standard is objectively misinformation. Instead of telling us,
shut up and listen to me! It's fine. Everything is fine. The answer is don't think about it.
why can't they just back up their words? It should be easy if they're right. Everyone makes mistakes.
It's fine.
Problem is, I found 57 other examples, like the Dragon's Dogma 2 release, when Capcom added MTX after reviews came out. But EU reviewers didn't get the press package on MTX, leading to harassment of those EU creators.
You know, you have people shitting on ACG, you have people shitting on Rurikon, you have people shitting on Sphere Hunter, you have people shitting on the Eric's team.
How'd I know that? I emailed them and asked. Oh, and I actually research my videos. Still, a year later, it's...
Capcom activating this was still an unethical ploy.
Except it wasn't. It was just a miscommunication in information. Dragon's Dogma 2 and FPS are examples from 2 other videos I posted. I'll link those in the end card. No doubt, publishers want all our money. GameTubers also want all our money. Publishers sell buggy games, and GameTube sells buggy info because they're not consumers, they're businesses. There's a name for people cosplaying as broke gamers. It's a limited liability company with press invite sponsorships and review codes who love telling us they've been covering games X number of years. Only the next day, they tell us they don't know anything. And the day after, YouTube is suppressing their channels. Honestly, I almost scrapped this video. I didn't because of those 57 examples. That's not an accident, it's a pattern. One that's misled gamers for over a decade. They're repeating talking points. GameTubers are choosing misinformation for profit. Why didn't I name names? I have no problem saying they're wrong. I'm fine with that. But anyone I show you implies that person is responsible. No one person is at fault. If that person isn't directly involved, I'm not using their name. Now, to be fair, yeah, they get plenty right. I'd have a drink with them, smoke a few bowls even, long as we don't talk games. Because if you search any bit of gaming dogma, like the 3 topics in this video, you'll find Reddit post articles and interviews on everything, spitting facts name brand gamers strangely, or conveniently never mention. I see frustrated gamers asking honest questions, getting 0 answers. That's why I started debug mode. The name is literal. Because for the love of games, the discourse
must be free of bugs.